In episode 2 of Town Hall Playbook, we talked about turning town halls from monologue into dialogues, making sure employees feel heard and involved. But engagement isn't just about conversations, it's also about keeping energy high from start to finish. So, this episode, we are diving into creative ways to sustain engagement throughout the session, using gamification, shoutouts, surprise elements, and many more. So, let's get started with Kunal with today's episode. Let me just tell you that did you know that the average human attention span has dropped from 12 seconds to just 8.25 seconds over the past 2 decades? That's even shorter than a goldfish's 9-second attention span. No wonder people often start multitasking during town halls, whether it's organizing their to do list, browsing social media, or mentally checking out. So, Kunal, why does this happen? And I think more importantly, how do you keep them engaged from start to finish?
Okay. So most town halls follow a predictable passive format. Leadership talks, slides roll, and employees listen. There's no element of surprise in it. And once attention is lost, as you mentioned, it's hard to win back. So the key is to hook people in the first 60 seconds. I would say think of it like a Netflix show. The first scene hooks you. The same goes for town halls. You can use three techniques that might work for you. The first one would be cold open. Start with a bold statement, a stat, or maybe an unexpected question to throw all of them on a different note. Then maybe you could use instant poll, kick off with a live poll to get instant interaction. Or if not that, then employee shout out. Recognize a team or individuals for a recent win. For example, what Salesforce does is it starts its company-wide all hands with employee stories, quick compelling narratives about someone's impact, or maybe a gratitude shout out to someone and recognizing someone's work. So that would be a right way to start your town hall.
I think great example of Salesforce. Okay, we have got them hooked at the start, but what if they are just sitting there and not engaging? What's a proven way to get people actively involved in a town hall?
As you mentioned, the its attention span is decreasing day by day. So we just not need to hook them in the starting, but we need to keep them engaged. So to do that, gamification could be one of the way. When people have something to play for, they pay attention. So adding a game-like element keeps people engaged. For example, LinkedIn gamifies employee engagement during events by running live quizzes and polls related to the company strategy. You could just run a live poll or maybe a quick multiple questions just to get know understand how the company's culture is doing, how many people are aware of the policies, so something around that.
That's really interesting.
Exactly. Like another simple way is giving spontaneous shout outs. Like at Airmeet, what we do is we highlight great employee contributions. Like examples, leader will say, big shout out to Sarah from marketing team for the campaign that just went viral. So what it does it just reward and gives recognition to the employee efforts, and everyone who are working with that particular team members would just pitch in and would listen to it attentively.
I think great example. In fact, in the previous company where I was working, the leadership frequently called out teams by name and highlighted their key contribution to foster a sense of belongingness. So that really made a big impact in the town hall when it came to engagement and keeping the teams involved. Now, going ahead, virtual fatigue is real. Let's talk about it. Long back to back meetings drain employees. So, how do we keep the energy level up amongst the employees?
Okay, so the key is to maintain the surprise element. Break the pattern every 15 minutes. Add something unexpected.
Okay, so I've heard about pattern interrupt. So, what is pattern interrupt if you would like to share with our audience?
Okay, it's a small surprising moment that shakes up the routine. As I have talked about it earlier, that we should have a rigid but free flowing structure of the town hall. So let's say a surprise guest appearance in between. Companies bring in a surprise guest. It could be like someone from outside the industry who would just share his experience around that particular topic that is going on. Or maybe a behind the scene footage, how one particular team was working like for one event that was supposed to be launched recently, and we could share those footages, or maybe something around live sketching, or maybe if we bring in a guest to just to do a stand-up comedy, so those things would just throw off the audience and they would be engaged.
I think that's really interesting. I like the idea of live sketching for sure. And in fact, I remember Pinterest integrates quick, fun energizers like a 60-second gratitude break where employees share something they appreciate in the chat. So it definitely boosts positivity and engagement. Also, how about inserting a mystery moment? I'm just thinking of something unannounced that surprises attendees, like announce a small surprise reward at the start, like an exclusive coffee chat with the CEO to keep the people engaged. I think that's also going to make a huge difference.
Yes, definitely. That would just not only keep them engaged right from the starting, but it will ensure that they are hooked right till the end.
And I think this sort of reward is something they look forward to in the long term as well.
Yes, definitely.
Okay, moving ahead, town hall engagement shouldn't stop when the meeting ends. How do we keep the momentum going on post the town hall as well?
Yes, definitely. Today, the companies don't stop engagement right after the town hall or the meeting ends. They continue the conversation. Like, for example, in AirMeet, we send a post town hall recap email with key takeaways and next steps, ensuring employees stay aligned with whatever the discussions took place. Or if someone has not attended the meeting, they could also be in loop with that. So, best practice would be follow ups, polls, and discussion threads, so that things that couldn't be discussed in that particular town hall could be continued in that particular chat.
Definitely, and I think at AirMeet as well, post these town halls, follow-up discussion threads are there in Slacks, which let us react and share our thoughts on the key takeaways, what are our learnings, what would be the culture and the future things we would look forward to. So it keeps the engagement alive post the event as well. Okay, I think this is it for today's episode. Let me summarize the key takeaways for you all for keeping the town halls engaging from start to finish. First, we talked about gamifying the session using live trivia and rewards to make it fun. Second, would be personalizing the shout outs. Calling out the employees for their great work will keep them hooked to the event. Third would be surprise and delight. Bringing in unexpected speakers or energizers would definitely increase the energy level within them. Last, keep the conversation going via Slack or emails or any other internal tool that you have. So, this would be like the post town hall engagement. Kunal, if leaders take just one thing from this episode, what should it be?
I would say hosting town halls in an ongoing journey, you need to engage with people right from the beginning, even before the event has started, during the event, and as we mentioned, even after that. So that is your key to hosting successful town halls.
Definitely, I think it's about making them feel involved, valued, and excited to participate. So that's a wrap for episode 3 of Town Hall Playbook. Thanks for tuning in. And remember, engaged employees aren't just attendees, they are active contributors. So, see you in the next episode of this series.